Hi, everybody. We're back. And we just completed a session with a new audience, a group of people from a community that we haven't interacted with before. So when we were thinking about what to share, we naturally want to share what we do, but what would be the context? And one of the things that we talked about was, what is food? We help people restore health and lose weight naturally, but what really is the key to it is our relationship with food. We can know everything there is to know about food, but if we don't have a healthy relationship with food, what good does it do? So we started by talking about what is food.
Yeah, what is it? For me, food is nourishment, and also it has capacity to cleanse the body. So it supports regeneration. We know we have a new skin every
15
days. Wow. And our body is constantly regenerating and recreating itself. And we want to put the foods in that allow it to regenerate at a higher and higher level. At least that's my interest.
Yeah, the foods that provide the nutrients that the body is designed to thrive with. So we looked briefly at kind of the evolution of our relationship with food and how, as the species was developing, when we were hunters, gatherers, there was kind of a natural, simple, clean relationship with food. We basically ate organic, in season, locally grown food.
Whole foods.
That's the other thing. Whole foods. Yeah, it was all whole foods. Yeah. And so it was just a real simple, clean relationship. And what has happened in the last several hundred years is that our relationship with food has changed a lot. We've begun to use food for a lot more than just nourishment and sustenance, like Connie was saying. We've begun to use food for celebration, reward, shift a mood when we don't feel good. We just don't have that simple, innocent relationship with food anymore.
And we use it to relieve stress, big time. Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things we're using food today.
Yeah, I think that's that mood shifting capacity that food has. It's true. And the change, it seems, has come as a result of the change in our food source. As we started to industrialize our food, to refine our foods, to process our foods, the nutrients in them became available in different ways that kind of triggered our feedback loops that used to serve us well. We have feedback loops to make sure we get enough energy, enough fat, enough salt in our diet, because when we get those things, we also naturally have enough protein, enough calcium, enough, just everything comes in with that. So we only need these three feedback loops, it seems, as we were developing, as we were evolving, to make sure the body had what it needed to thrive. And now with refined processed grains and refined sugar and access to excess fat, you can just pour that olive oil out of a bottle instead of having to get it by eating olives. As we've industrialized our food source, we've kind of short-circuited what our feedback loops were there for. So now we have a potato chip that has plenty of energy, the carbohydrate from the potato. It's got lots of fat, a lot more fat than was ever in a potato when we ate a potato, even if we had olives with it, and a lot more salt than it ever had. So we have a potato chip, and all three of these feedback loops come on strong. And so that old commercial, I don't know how long ago it was, but I remember Lay's potato chips. The commercial was, but you can't eat just one. It was so true, and it still is, right?
Right.
Have a potato chip and try to put the bag away. It's because we get this dopamine hit and we just naturally want to keep going. It's what the system was designed to do when we got energy, fat, and salt. When we have access to those things in quantities and form that was never available when we were evolving. So it's kind of short-circuited the whole system. So now our relationship with food has begun to take a form that allows for a lot of excess and also a lot of lack, just not enough nutrients. Kind of like when we started to process white rice. We took brown rice and made white rice, and they sent the sailors off with white rice. And after a couple of months of eating just white rice, some of them started developing this thing called scurvy. And what we know now is that when you take the hull off the brown rice and just give people white rice, all the B6 is gone, all the vitamin B6. So the processed grain doesn't have that full spectrum. So we end up with not enough of what we need. So processed foods seem to create this condition of both excess of some things and lack of others. And our bodies, when they have excess or lack, they try to tell us, and symptoms develop. So we have arthritic pain, or we have hypoglycemia, or diabetes, or we have heart conditions and strokes. And what if these conditions aren't really punishment for what we're doing, but rather just the wisdom of our body trying to tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, something's out of balance here. Can we work together on this?
Yeah.
Get our attention.
And so where do we go? Well, not to process food, that's for sure, because that's created so many chronic conditions in North America today. What we love to do in the work that we do is show people how when they eat anti-inflammatory foods, they reconnect to their own inner body's wisdom. And that's the wisdom we had as little kids. We knew what we wanted, how much, and it was clear as crystal. That capacity is in every one of us. It never went away. What we often do is stop listening to it or even accessing it. So how do we access that inner wisdom?
Over to me.
Over to you. Well, I can talk if you don't
Go
listen.
ahead.
So it's so simple. How we reconnect. One way is to stop inflammatory foods, and we love helping people do that, and begin to reconnect to that inner wisdom that's always been there. Another thing that we show people is the presence exercise. So when you have an urge to eat something, you know it isn't good for you. The first thing is sit down and relax just for a moment and check in. Is this really great for my body right now? Now you might get, no, it isn't. Don't have that, have a glass of water. But you decide you're going to have it anyway. And that's okay too. Everything is a potential learning to reconnect to who we really are, this inner wisdom that we all have. So when you take the food, relax, put all your awareness in your mouth, chew it really, really good until it's liquid, and smell it and feel it and taste it.
Love it.
And love it. That's the most important part. Really, not from here, but from here, feel love for it as you're eating it. Now, the most important part is next. When you swallow it, notice how your body receives it. How did my body receive that? Is that something I want to repeat? And that, all of that, is actually taking us into the present moment. And when we're in the present moment, we're more connected to our inner wisdom. So it's a little practice that's fun to do and really helpful to take us back to more of who we really are, who we were as little kids with food, where there was no concern or tendency to eat junk, is what I would say. But that's probably pretty little kid in today's world.
Yeah, so if we look at how to get back to that kind of innocent, clean relationship that we had with food when it was just what was available in our environment, we see that by shifting to a whole food plant-based diet, we're kind of moving more back into the foods that we ate naturally. And then as we begin to really relate to the food that we're eating, and we're not just eating to get it over with and get on with our lives. As we really connect with the food, we can develop a relationship so that we can be guided by our inner wisdom, by the intelligence of the body that basically knows everything that we need. It's intelligence that keeps our heart pumping, that keeps our blood sugar levels right, keeps our blood pressure levels right. There's so much intelligence constantly monitoring our body and giving feedback. We can reestablish that connection that we always had through our evolution to be able to guide us to what to eat that will really provide the body with what it needs to thrive.
Yeah, so try that this week. See what you learn. It's a fun exercise, and our recipe for today is really yummy and quite new for us. It's a quinoa brown rice bowl with raw broccoli flowers cut fine, grated carrot, grated red onion on a bed of power greens or lettuce, either one. And then we made this amazing dressing with mustard, lemon, cashews. It's really yummy, and raisins to sweeten it. It's like a sweet sour, so good. So give it a try, and I think your body, when you check in, will thank you.
Hey, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.